guest in our studio this morning.
That is...
Man cannot be a big a short man cannot be a big
The last I checked, the very short man was a big man.
That is yeah.
I'm good, bro.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we haven't met since
sometime last year.
Yeah.
No,
you need to balance yourself into the opposition group, you know.
Okay. So you are finding your...
Oh, no, I found it now.
Your level in the opposition.
So when you start floating, then your neck is added there, you know.
Oh, okay. I since the elections, we've not... And since that time... For a while, you hadn't spoken, and you know.
Well, I was actually on news.
No, I'm saying for a while you hadn't spoken. Then in recent times, you started, granted. I've followed you. I've followed the interviews you've granted and all of that. I think you were even at Asempa at a point, right? Yes. I've followed that.
Yes.
There were some accusations that from your fraternity that the Eluzi won't pim since that time. So now you've come back into
That's true.
How are you doing though?
We're good. We're fine. I mean, we have a country to run. And if you recollect, Dr. Bawumia during his concession speech was quite categorical that he was going to give the government time and room to settle down. And that as a leader in this country and a very prominent one for that matter, he's going to work with the MPP to ensure that we are not a disruptive opposition, but we become an opposition that would provide some proper input into our governance to make sure that our country gets to where we are getting to. And I think that's what we are all trying to do, to simply ensure that on day-to-day basis, the education for our children and our people is getting better, road infrastructure getting better, jobs for the young people. We are doing better in health and every other sector you can think of as a country. And I think that's our preoccupation right now, to work with the government as much as we can to ensure that our country doesn't retrogress.
All right. And MFI and I will be, since we've sandwiched you, we'll be shooting questions from different ends. But I feel we should start from the MPP's front before we come to what is happening now, the current government, governance issues, and all of that. Just briefly, from the last encounters we had, even on the back of the polls by Global Info Analytics, you were pretty, sure that the MPP would win. You threw a challenge to me at one point. You said, look, by this time, it didn't happen. What happened?
Well, I mean, I think it's an election. You go in with all your strategies and all your plans. You put in all the energy you could. And for me, I think that we applaud all the MPP members and sympathizers across the country. The over 41.75% of the Ghanaian people who voted for their party across the country and our parliamentary candidate. When you go into an election, it's just like the football that we play. The only difference between elections and our sports is that there is no draw. There surely would have to be a winner. And so the Ghanaian people in the 2024 elections thought that the propositions being made by the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, was quite superior to the proposition that we were making. And so they decided to rather vote for him and not our party. I think that's what democracy is all about. That's what democracy is all about. It's about the aspirations of the people. It's about the expectations of the people. And if at every point in time the people feel that this is a direction with which we want to go, we just have to, respect that. And once the elections are over, we come together and forge ahead, ensuring that the specific things that for which the people voted would be implemented. Then it takes us to the next level.
But before MFA comes in, did you expect this kind of gap? Because I think I listened to Osaichi Mensah-Bonsu, the former majority leader, make the point that as of August, or was it earlier, when you had polled internally, you were even falling below the 38% that initially, because it came up to about 41%, you got in the election, that you were getting about 30%, that things were looking pretty bad. Was it not obvious from then?
No. I don't think that's what he said, unless he said something else somewhere that I haven't heard.
What did he say?
But we never had any such polls as at August depicting that. What I think I've seen or read that our senior said was that as we moved towards the elections, we're getting better. And so he thought that between August and December, we had improved very much in terms of our electoral fortunes. I mean, that's something that everybody actually acknowledges. You'd recall that from, I think, January 2024 till the elections, the MPP, and for that matter, our presidential candidate, came from a very wide gap earlier on, almost all the polls. Initially, the polls were putting him somewhere around 28%. Then every month we kept, improving and getting better than it was in the previous month. And I think that's what he was trying to.
Let me just quote him here. If you go to myjoyonline.com, it's dated the 17th of March 2025. And I said it off my head without even having read because of what I recalled. The title is, if elections were in August 2024, Bawumia would have polled about 30%, Chimensa Bonsu. The relevant quote being, if they had conducted, or let me just start from here. I started seeing signs that the election would not be easy, but we still hoped for a better outcome. The fact that the elections were held in December allowed us to regain some support. If they had been, that is the elections, had been conducted in August, Dr. Bawumia would have polled around 30%, and this is a quote, against John Mahama, because at the time economic hardships were severe. That's what he said.
So absolutely. So it's exactly what I'm saying. So he didn't refer to a poll. I mean, like I said, if you paid attention to the polling from the various institutions, you'd realize that Dr. Bawumia and the party kept improving month on month in terms of the electoral fortunes. And that's basically what I think Honorable Chimensa Bonsu was referring to. But Ben, the fact of the matter is that every election has its own dynamics. 2024 elections was not one that anybody expected in terms of the gap. Similar to 2016 elections. You recall that until 2016 elections, nobody would have even imagined anybody in this country losing an election by 1 million votes. Until 2016, nobody would have imagined. So when 2016...
800,000.
Well, I mean, thereabouts. But you recall that when that happened, people were shocked. In fact, people said that the NDC had collapsed and that the NDC would be in opposition for 50 years, 60 years, all manner of things. And that there's no way they can recover from such a huge gap at that time. And a lot of political scientists could not even have anticipated a bigger gap than that, the gap we had in 2016. But here we are. Subsequently,
look at it from 800,000 to about 500,000.
And then now 1 point.
The feeling was that still, I mean,
it's big.
You're going to catch up with 500,000.
You come to 200,000. Because you recall in 2008, we lost with practically barely some 47,000. So let's just begin to understand that the Ghanaian democracy is growing. And it's a very good one. It's a positive one. That we have a democracy where millions of people can go this way in these elections. And then the next day, you see all of them moving towards this way based on what their aspirations are. For me, that is the positive thing that we need to look at in this. Our job now, as a political party, is to continuously provide that opposition responsibility that our democracy and our multi-party system brings upon us.
Which I think will come to...
That is to provide credible alternative.
Absolutely.
To everything that the government is doing.
We'll come
then the
to
people
that
would
shortly.
appraise that and then take decisions.
We'll come to that shortly. Let's just take you back a little bit to the elections again. So beyond the big picture as to this is democracy, obviously you go to elections hoping that you win, and if you don't win, you look at the external factors. But it's been some months after the election. For you, from where you sit, especially because you led the Bawumia campaign, if you look back and you do a micro analysis of the party itself, and especially from what Chimensa Bonsu said again some months ago, that the reports that he had been tasked to conduct in the Ashanti region, despite him not giving us the details of the report, some bit he mentioned that when the very ordinary persons in the Ashanti region was interviewed, masons, hairdressers, the barbers, some of the things they discovered were quite shocking. I'm not sure what it is, was quite shocking. I hope that you know what it is that they said. It was quite shocking. But today, from where you sit, if you overlook and you oversee What are some of the internal reasons you think may have caused the loss of the NPP?
I don't discuss internal party issues on air.
Okay.
I'll never do that.
Are they secrets?
No, yes, they are secrets to our organization, which obviously you are not a member of. So for our viewers who are members of our party...
How do you know, though?
No, you are not supposed to be. You're a journalist. You cannot be a card-bearing member of a party. You can go and vote based on issues.
What law bars?
Oh, once I know you belong to a particular party, I'd be worried about your independence.
If she were a member, yet she would come here and do her job.
It will be difficult. It will be difficult. You cannot be. Politics is partisan. You understand? It's very, politics.
Being a card-bearing member doesn't mean
you are partisan.
No,
you are partisan.
Anything.
Once you
just
go,
bear a card. Ben,
let's be practical. Once you go and pick a political party's card,
yes,
you become partisan. You have a responsibility to protect that party, because when you are taking the card has certain rules.
Which which will mean that if I was privy to this secret, so-called secret, then I would.
So you raised internal issues.
Right.
Internal issues are for internal people.
Absolutely.
And I want to use your platform to urge all my party people. Don't let the media people, coerce you and trick you into discussing internal issues.
It's
at the police station level.
Let me rephrase the
question. I don't know what tricking.
Yes. At the police station level.
Yes.
There are police station executives whose responsibility are to organize the party at the base. It goes to the lecture area level. It goes to the constituency, region, and the national level. Each of these levels are organizations on their own with their leadership. If there's an internal issue in my police station, which you know very well, like the Methodist Primary School, we will sit down at the MPP people at that police station and discuss those.
I think the point is well made. Maybe a bigger or umbrella question would be, from where you sit months after the elections, what would you have done differently?
I mean, it's not about what we would have done differently.
Okay.
Because if we do that, then we are saying that the Ghanaian people go to the polls based on how we manipulate them as politicians. That's not the issue.
Okay.
So the people voted for a government that will give them nkete because they believe in that. The people voted for a government that says that I will end Galamsey in 2 weeks. They believe in that. The people voted for a government that says that the president is deliberately not signing the LGBTQI.
The NDC said it would end Galamsey in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Is that what they said?
The Minister of Communication, I'll quote him for you. Yes, he said it. He said it.
Minister of Communications is not.
He's a cabinet member. Otherwise, why is a cabinet member?
Is he the main arrowhead?
Yes. He's a cabinet member of the government. He said it. He's a cabinet member. The Minister for Communication.
Is he the minister? Is he the sector minister? Is he the president?
But you're a cabinet member. Otherwise, then...
At the time he said this, what was he?
He was a leading member. He was a parliamentary candidate, a member of parliament of the party.
He was being vetted.
He was a ranking member of the communications committee. So he's no mean of a person. Okay? And so the people voted for that. And let's give credence to the people. So the people voted on issues. The people voted for a government that says that double track is bad. And that government says that when I come, I'll abolish double track right there and then. They voted for a government that says that when we come, we'll make first year university education free.
Let's start with Galamsey.
Okay.
Let's start with Galamsey.
Okay. Maybe before we get into Galamsey, because it's going to be a long one, just a quick thought. Yeah. There are some things you can't say. I find it curious because Osei Chairman Sabuntu again and other party stalwarts have spoken, publicly. Even there was a time where the Nshiaeso MP Stika, Dr. Amwa, was aggrieved with some reports that had come from the Ashanti region and all of that. There's been talk about your messaging. There's been talk about some complaints within your party that even there was money given to some bigwigs that was not distributed and all of that. And then we had that interaction. I'll just end there so that you sum it up for us, where Dr. Bawumia, the candidate of the MPP, recognized, congratulated you, the communications team, and said that it wasn't really your fault, but that, other elements, the media was against you and all of that. We took the fall for that. How do you address that? Because those are all, from your party and they've come out there. So the verdict is out there anyway.
We can't have political conversations
the verdict is out there anyway.
Without parties anyway.
Our party is going through a restructure, and I want you to hear me on this. We are rebuilding. As part of the rebuilding processes, there are certain things we should do and shouldn't do. One of the things we should not do is to be discussing obvious internal issues in the public space in the manner with which some people have done. we've had conversations at the back end, and we've engaged, and we've told them, listen, yeah, you may probably have fallen in that space, but hold your horses for now. And I think that is what everybody should do.
Is Sarah Adjoa part of this restructuring?
Yes.
She is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you understand.
Since you're talking of what people say,
hold your horses for now. I mean, it's a big organization. Once in a while, people will slip. It's okay. So it's okay when people slip and they get into that conversation. But why should we come and discuss what happened with our party and our campaigning, Seshiri, also our campaigning, our win on TV? How does it benefit even the viewer? The viewer doesn't care about that. The viewer simply cares about what alternative you are bringing as a political party to the economic issues, to their health sector, to their education.
They also do realize that for your party faithful, because there are always
we have meetings.
Those who are,
they come to meetings.
Hold.
The party faithfuls come to meetings.
Your party faithful,
they come to meetings.
Walking on the streets of Kokomlemle, how many of them attend your
Those who want to hear the issue.
For those who maybe say, look, our party lost, we feel aggrieved, we want to know why, because you can't solve something if you've not identified the problem, right?
Yes.
Shouldn't you be talking about, look, we acknowledge this is what happened and we are trying to remedy it? You don't think that's necessary?
So let me explain to you. For example, in the past 2 months, there's been a lot of rebuilding going on. Constituencies are having their conferences, polling stations are having cleanup exercises and social events. The TESCOM on our campuses, UPSA, University of Ghana, UCC, it's been all over the place. That is where we discuss internal issues. You are not there.
Did you show your card before you enter? If you're coming for these meetings?
We know our membership, yes. An NDC member cannot come to a party meeting. Before an NDC member comes to a party meeting, you would have converted.
The media also could not?
No, it's a party meeting.
So if that NDC member wants to join your party?
No, you convert before you come and join our meeting. Why? Have you seen the presbyter going to a Methodist men's fellowship executive meeting?
But I mean, I think your point is well.
Yeah,
hopefully when the restructuring is
it would help. It would help.
But
you know, it's okay when the sensations are there and all the emotions are all over the place. But we need to protect our democracy. And one of the ways of protecting our democracy is to ensure that political parties like the NDC and MPP, are formidable at all times. And putting internal issues out there in the manner in which the media wants, which is rightly so, you have committed no crime, it doesn't help.
I'm not sure the part that doesn't help, but we can put this here in the back there.
No, it helps you, but it doesn't help.
Okay, so let's start with Galamsey. Again, it's okay to count the numbers, the days, the weeks, or the months that this new government has just started. What can you say about the fight against Galamsey currently?
Let me frame Ben. Me, I'm a very, very strongly opinionated person. And that is why a lot of people will tell you that if I'm not factual, I don't speak to issues. When these Galamsey issues came up and we're in government, I constantly said it. And I think I was with you, Ben, on a show here on Galamsey. I remember when I mentioned Tony Obin's name and all manner of things. I said that Galamsey is a social canker. It's a menace that if you politicize, the country will be extinguished. And so we should be careful the manner in which we attempt to politicize Galamsey. The reason why now, sometimes when I wake up and I see Galamsey issues and the way this government is struggling with it, I feel like, let's just laugh at them. It's because we told them and they knew what we were saying was right.
What did you say?
But we told them that, listen, it is wrong for you to go and stand on a campaign trail as a presidential candidate, and our president is President Mahama, and tell the people that I don't see why the MPP government will come and arrest you people in the pit. And that when I come to office, and it's on your portal, My Joy News, I would release all of you Galamseyers who were arrested in the pit and give you your excavators and go for the kingpins. That is what he said. We had NDC apparatchiks, top leadership, the current CEO of the Petroleum Hub Corporation, Dr. Tony Obin, and NDC leadership, Kwaku Boahen and co, in the Galamsey pit, telling Galamseyers that the MPP wants to destroy your job. This thing, we've been doing this since ancestors' days, and it's a video, so the fact is there. Vote for us. When we come, the day you hear that we have been announced winners of these elections, come back to the pit and come and dig.
That's not being fair.
Oh, no, should I quote you?
What was?
No, play the video. Play the video. You have the video. Play the video. Play the video. No, Ben. No. Don't do that.
Okay.
You are impugning me, and don't do that.
Don't start using your
Let me quote. No, Emefa, let me quote. No. If I am telling you facts and you tell me that
some part of it, I recall.
No. It is fact, not some part. And I'll do it again.
Everything.
I'll do it again. Tony Obey was standing. You have the video. If you really are sure about your position,
all videos here.
No, but I've sent it to Kingsley. I've sent it to Kingsley. If you really are sure, play the video. Tony Obey was there. The parliamentary candidate for that constituency, one Muslim named Sadat also was there. Kweku Boahen was there. And these are Kweku Boahen's words. The parliamentary candidates' words were also these. Munim say Juma we minimu nyina na eye. NPP for no hu say abato eba bedu so no. And on march that eyi soldier for no free aha. Na mom me catch am moto abawie ye mu nyina weba. Na da ye to aba no mo master for no omunya mo na mo nyina mo koto aba ma NDC. Na moto aba no wie ne ye bobodi na mo te se mawi ni pe. Mo nyina mo bra na mba Galamsey. This is a public video. What are you talking about?
Let's start with the president.
You understand?
So let me
Dennis, hold for me. So in anticipation you send this video to Kingsley.
No, not in anticipation. I told you that 3 months ago or 4 months ago.
That's interesting.
We're having
anyway,
hold on. We're having this conversation here, and I sent the video to Kingsley. He's a producer. He has the video.
Right.
But let's come back to the conversation.
Let's come back to
So all I am saying is that this attitude and posture of the then opposition is what has led to the escalated nature of Galamsey. You know why? Because the people simply think that these are the people who told us that when they come, they will allow us to mine. And so once they are there, they are here, it is time for us to
let me quote one of.
We used to do.
Just hold your horses. This story is from December the 3rd, 2024, and this is what the current president says. He says, I know that here in Adanse, and of course we can't look through all of them, but I'm giving one example just to communicate what he was saying. I know that here in Adanse, you deeply value small-scale mining. The NDC will bring policies to support small-scale miners and ensure the land is preserved for future generations.
So you see, the problem I have, and you constantly...
And I'm not saying that this is all of what he said, but this is one of the...
So let me help you.
Is this negative?
So let me help you. Ghana Web. I'll grant all Galamseyers imprisoned under Akufo-Addo amnesty. The 2024 flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, 4 years ago, in the run-up to the 2020 election, promised to pardon all illegal miners who have been imprisoned under Nana Danko Akufo-Addo if he returns to power. Speaking at Edum Bamso in the Mpoho constituency in the Western region, to kickstart his 4-day campaign, Mahama stated that it is ridiculous to have a foreigner engaged in the same illegal activity, released without any prosecution or fine, but sentence our own people to these consequences. The former president added that he would get illegal miners back to the fields to work in a more controlled environment as captured in his party's manifesto. It is sad that government said it was fighting Galamsey, and they arrested, prosecuted, and jailed Ghanaians who were engaged in that activity, but left Chinese people to go. Today, they are still in prison. The Chinese Galamseyers who were arrested have been left to go free. They were never prosecuted, but our people are in jail. When we come, we shall grant all those arrested and jailed amnesty. They will come back to their homes and work. I believe that these operators are remorseful towards any unlawful activities. So we'll give them another chance. So you see...
But what hold on.
These aspects entirely? We have not contested, have we?
No, hold on.
Because these we have even condemned here.
So that's what I'm talking about.
But it's not everything.
No, so that's the point. So why are you making a point that I have made? I am telling you that if you have a former president who is aspiring to be president, tell the people that when I come, those who committed crimes against the state and have been found culpable by a court of competent jurisdiction will be left to go because the government is wicked. Because the government is allowing Chinese people to leave the country. And then when you come, basically all you are telling those people is that, as for you, you are a friend. And so now that you have come, one, you release us, and two, you're not going to prosecute us and arrest us. That's MFA. You can beat around the bush. You can try to jump around it. That is one of the reasons why today Galamsey has gone a top notch higher than it was 4 months ago.
You have just said that. I've allowed you to make a point. Make your second point.
You just made a point that Galamsey has gone a notch higher.
If you don't think so, it's okay.
Where are the metrics to prove?
Ben, if you don't think Galamsey is got enough time, it's okay.
I want us to
the viewers and the public who are following the story.
Say you're very factual. I'm asking you, based on what are you making this?
Based on what metrics were you always before now saying that the Galamsey, and you putting cameras all over the country saying that Galamsey was on a rise? Based on what metrics?
No, I mean,
were you
doing
based, for example, on passing LI?
So your metrics today tell you that
based on LI 246, for example.
No, hang on. Gentlemen, hang on.
Ben, just take your time. This Galamsey matter, it's not one that we should do PR with it too. It will swallow all of us.
Miracles.
It will swallow all of us.
I think all of us.
Miracles.
Okay, let's again set the ground rules. We are interviewing you.
Oh no, but I'm also responding to you. I'm also responding in the same manner.
Just take it easy.
In the same manner.
So you recall that you had quoted the former president.
Yes.
And among one of the things that many people have been saying, he said, which is with me, and I want us to even go a little further, is the fact that he says he will, if you're correct, he will release the ones that are working in the pits and go after the kingpins. If you were not a politician and if you were not part of the previous government, what imputation will you put to this?
So that is why the people voted for you. And that's the point I made earlier. So the people voted for you because you said that you go after campaigns. So now you come. 3 months or 4 months in office. You have not shown any single sign of going after the campaigns. Rather, you are still in the pit, arresting the same people you told that you would release. First of all, what you have done is that you have misled them. You have deceived them into believing that you will not come after them.
And so for
now you take them and then wait. Hang on. You remember I quoted the point he made at Adanse on the Chinese people. So you come to office. You said something else before we voted for you. You come to office. You go into the pit. You go and arrest these same boys you said you released, and then now you are deporting the Chinese people that you accused the previous.
Do you recall that at the end of that article that you read, you said that he believes that these people would have been remorse about their actions, so they'll bring them back and provide a more conducive environment for them to work. But so that's what I'm saying. Let's assess the process.
No, but that's what we are
Let's start. So at least in the last 3 months, say 2 months, you may have heard. The conversation started with the repeal of the LI, which the environmental minister has said, the lands and natural resources minister has said that has been laid in parliament. The conversation and the civil societies have said that it looks like an amendment more than a repeal. That's a step we can discuss. You've also heard about the river guards that are being trained to deploy to the river bodies, at least. You may have seen the EPA's assessment and all of that. Are we in any way saying that so far we haven't seen anything at all about this government trying to fight Galamsey, no matter how significant? Let's establish that.
Let's have this conversation without interruption, like the way I allowed you to land.
Go ahead, make your point.
So you see, when we have a canker like Galamsey, and you have an opposition leader then, His Excellency Mahama, tell you that the government is doing A, it is wrong. It doesn't give a solution. Vote for me, I will do B. The government is doing C. Forget that one because it's not working. Vote for me, I will do D. When you win power, we don't expect you to come and do the A and the C that the previous government is doing, and not to do your B and D. Simply implement what it is that you promised that you will do when it comes to dealing with Galamsey. Tell me one thing that this government has done in the past 4 months about Galamsey that was not in existence as of 7 January 2025 when they took over power. River guards. Do you know when river guards were commissioned in this country by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources? River guards with their boats, with their drones. They have been there all this while. This is not the first batch of river guards. They are still there. So, and it's on your portals. Go to My Joy Online. Your news people follow it. So river guards is not something that the government, a novelty that the government has brought, which this country hasn't seen before to fight Galamsey. Is that what you promised us? Something that we were doing already, that you claim was not giving us results? That's what you are doing. Number 2, you said you were going to repeal the LI. You didn't say you were going to amend the LI. As it stands now, Mifa, stop the PR. It doesn't seem like an amendment. It is an amendment. The government has taken no step to go and repeal the LI. What the government has done is to take steps to amend the LI. That wasn't the promise. Number 3, you said that when you come to office, you will not go after these boys in the pit, and that you will go after kingpins. In the past 4 months, have you had any kingpin arrested other than the same boys in the pit? As at December 2024, Galamseyers in the pit were still being arrested. As at October 2024, on your portal, Mindjoy Online, you were reporting Galamseyers who have been arrested by the previous government. So if you are arresting Galamseyers in the pit, you have done nothing, because this country has been doing that since 2013. Since 2013, this country has been arresting Galamseyers, has been burning excavators, has been moving with military and police into the forest reserves. That is no novelty. You promise the people that when you come, you think that this country's Galamsey situation has gotten to the point where our lives are at risk, and it's a national security matter. So you, the president now, you were backing some civil society organizations and calling for a state of emergency, and saying that this country was at a point where we should call for a state of emergency. You have been in government for four months. Galamsey has escalated. Galamsey today is worse than it was in December 2024. Why haven't you called for a state of emergency?
You would say that is worse
If you
today.
don't think so, that's fine.
No, I'm only asking.
That is my view. And the viewers are also out there assessing it. Yeah, let me tell you. Up until the NDC came to,
and I want you to wrap.
You would not see people in Osino, okay, doing Galamsey at Osino Market. Today they are doing it in the middle of town. Have you used the Kumasi Road recently? Right by the roadside. Your own reporter who has been reporting on Galamsey all this while. I quote him. He's here. I'll quote him. And I have had my own issues with Erastus in the past, but I'm quoting him because what he did to us is what he's doing to the same government.
If you had issues with the Erastus reportage, how is it relevant?
No, it's a different matter. It's not important.
It's not. Is it about this?
My views and my opinions is not.
It won't matter.
No, relax.
Miracles.
So this is what he says.
Hang on.
I'm telling you that
it won't be fair. You know that it won't be fair that in the past, his reportage, you've had a problem.
No. I said I've had my own issues with Erastus.
With him? Is it with him personally?
No, he knows. We banter. He knows. We banter.
Let's move the conversation.
So 19 hours ago, this is what Erastus said. The president cannot watch on for this to happen constantly. I have notified the right authorities, including the sector ministry, but very little agency is attached to it. How can party people lay claim over illegality in such brazen manner across the country and leaders watch on? Galamsey is being done in protected reserves in such brazen manner by known party people who feel entitled because they claim it's their turn. The more we notify authorities, very little is done. These images show current mining in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve and the extreme pollution of the Tano River. How do we allow people with connections to illegally enter a protected forest and degrade it and steal the resources, leaving degraded lands for citizens to pay for? Why is it difficult for authorities to end this crime? The only answer that makes sense is that it involves people close to them. I am saying that if I don't quote Erastus and I quote somebody else, you will say that Miracles is exaggerating.
It's okay, make the point.
This is Erastus. Galamsey today is escalated than it was 4 months ago.
Simple question.
The government of the day promised us specific things.
Right.
And I
think you've elaborated enough on
repeal the LI. 2, call for a state of emergency.
Right.
3, stop arresting the boys in the pit and go after the kingpins. These are specific things you said you will do when you win power. Until you do those things, first stop telling the people that the government has done something.
If you achieve it without implementing these 3 promises, would it be?
Why do you think that what you thought was being done that could not give results?
We're not robots, are we?
No.
What is
the same thing
is that
the same results. That's what it is.
Over the last how many weeks we've been talking about the same points. I've spoken time without number about LI 2462 and that it must be revoked, not amended. In fact, if you read some of the research by Arosha Ghana, they talk about how much more forest reserves we can get secure, over 60% if we revoke, rather than about 10% if we amend. The bit you are talking about a state of emergency, we've sat here. I have engaged eco-conscious citizens. I've participated in their programs, and we've all lambasted this administration on those same points. So you are literally preaching to the choir on those.
No, I'm not talking to. I'm talking to
those very. As for those very points,
but they must be
points
made.
that we all.
No, but then don't come and tell me that this government is doing it.
Let me.
But they've done nothing new.
No, we're asking. So in 4 months, comparing to 8 years, you think that this government is still on the same journey as?
But the things I've mentioned to you, the things you mentioned that they've done, they are things that were done. They were still in place as of January 7th. Mention one new thing. There's nothing new. Mention one new thing that this government has done on Galamsey. One. You don't have.
Is that a concession then? If you say that all the mechanisms have failed, is that a concession that throughout your 8 years, your mechanisms at tackling Galamsey were also failures?
If you followed my conversation on Galamsey, you'd realize that, yes, that's my answer. Because I have always said that the manner in which we politicize Galamsey is the reason why these mechanisms are failing. And that is why I recently even made a post. I think even the rest of us made a comment about it, and we had our own banter. That's a different matter. I think that MPP in particular shouldn't go the path the NDC went when they were in opposition. That is my view. I think that no matter how much this government would have lied to the people to power on this Galamsey matter, we should put politics aside and not play politics with it and work with the government to get Galamsey solved. Until we depoliticize Galamsey, it doesn't matter the strategy MFI you put in place. It would not work. When you read
that definitely, and because I want us to...
It will not work.
I think it is common knowledge.
It will not work.
That problem.
You understand?
And everyone will tell you that both parties are neck deep. They have people in it. But we don't have all the time to talk about that.
Today you are saying both parties. In 2024 December, you said MPP people.
Oh, because at the time...
It is NDC people, it's not both parties. Today, the Galamseyers are NDC people, not both parties. No MPP person is in the pit. When you go and the NPP person in the pit, arrest him, jail him for life. It is NDC people who are doing Galamsey.
Have you identified one NDC person?
Yes, your news portal, this your station, show the video. Yes. This your station. Show the video of NDC chairman almost strangling a military officer and asking him why he's in the pit. So yes, your station
So that makes him a Galamseyer.
Yes, but he's an NDC guy.
Okay.
And he's a Galamseyer. And your own reporter, Erastus, has constantly been giving indicators of those who are doing it.
Let's have a
The point I am making is that...
You say there are no mechanisms. I just want to find out.
New.
Gold board.
No new.
The gold board. What do you think about it?
Gold board
Will it help in dealing with, Galamseyers? Because like it or not... Like it or not, I'm asking you a question.
No, show me. Because I don't see...
Like it or not.
I've read a gold board law. And I don't see where it addresses illegal mining.
Let's hear
the question. Thank you. As part of the responsibilities of gold board is going to be an assayer and everything in between. It will be a one-stop shop where people can actually deliver their gold, get value, central bank rates, at least for now till April the 30th, the window they've given, they are going to sort of regulate the entirety of the industry. I'm simply asking you, would this be a part of the solution in curing our curse where people, of course, want to do their own thing, secure gold at their local level for individual gain, but now they are saying they are trying to streamline it. I'm asking you, is that part of the solution?
No, it's not.
Why?
It's not because Galamsey is illegal mining. It is a group of people who are hiding under the darkness to recover or bring out these minerals without legitimate, let's say, regulations or licenses.
But they say they are trying to regulate all these people.
How do you regulate
to come forward?
How do you regulate an armed robber? How? What are we talking about? Are we playing? How do you regulate an armed robber, Ben? How do you regulate a thief?
But I thought I'd known some of your members in the previous administration in 2024 talk about the fact that you can't go past the Galamseyers. They are everywhere. So what you have to do is actually get them together, regulate them, and even Dr. Bawumia was talking about the gold catcher machines and all of that. Was that not the same idea you were using?
So you see, then you are not talking about illegal mining. Then you're not talking about Galamseyers. Then you are talking about a solution that I think is a good one. That you provide an alternative, a more formal and regulated alternative way of mining, and hope that these criminals who go under the darkness to go and mine would say that this option that you have given us is one that we will take. But I don't see anything like that in the gold board. Okay, I've read a gold board law. I don't see anywhere in the law that says that a Galamseyer in Osino or Etiwa East, okay, this is it for you, and that today don't go to the mining pit, but come and do this, and gold board is there to buy
Miracles,
gold.
so the public knowledge,
we have the
is that
small-scale miners who are doing the right thing progressively. Is the idea not to get, and this was espoused as well, is the idea not to get people away from illegal mining, and maybe if they can become regulated small-scale miners, would that be a
Where
positive?
in the gold board have you seen
I'm asking you a general question.
No,
I'm not saying in
no, but you said gold board, and I'm saying that it's nowhere in the gold board. It's a good thing.
I am not saying specifically. You made a point and said that could help.
But it's a progressive. So what is the progress? Where? What is the blueprint? That's what I'm asking. Ben, you are saying that progressive. Okay. So the assumption with progression is that there's something going on.
The point I've just made.
Yes.
Would it be a positive in tackling calamity?
Yes. In fact, if government, no, you said gold board. If government should put in place a system, and I've always said it, there are two things that government needs to do. It's a social mindset thing. First of all, whilst you are doing all these things, there must be a deliberate social reorientation or mindset reorientation in these areas for them to understand the dire effects of Galamsey on them and the entire nation. Then you provide the alternative form of livelihood, which will include those who would lay down their tools completely and come and do other things. Or those you would want to bring on board, provide resources to, and properly regulate for them to become small-scale miners.